Sixers analyst Marc Jackson from NBC Philadelphia, of course, had his stint with the Sixers, Temple grad, former NBAer. And here we go. As we talked about this, and I was just telling you that the event has grown so much. Man, this place is huge. You've been at all the stops this week, but this is like all those stops into one. Yeah, this is spectacular. You know, we've been at Cape May, Ocean City, Avalon, Wildwood, but that was nothing compared to this. But they were all great events for their location. But this, with all these amount of people, with the size, is just incredible. This is great. This is really big time. So, Mark, you know, the season will be here soon. Yeah. The off season, all these guys working. Of all the guys this off season, what aspect of one of the players' games is most important to develop? You look at this roster and say, this guy has to come back and he needs to be much better at doing this. Great one. That's a great question to start off. I think it's twofold. I think Markelle Fultz has to come back and show that he has some kind of perimeter game. We know he's an incredible athlete, great slasher, getting to the basket, getting to the rim. But I think the most important thing other than that is Ben Simmons. I think Ben Simmons have to add to his range. I'm not saying he should shoot threes, but he'd be so much more effective if he can hit the 15-foot off a pick and roll or something. And it open the floor and make a team harder to guard. What for you is your most comfortable prediction for what kind of player we'll see Markelle Fultz be this year? I truly believe, I don't know if Markelle will start the season to start lineup, but I think an easy prediction that he will finish the season to start lineup. I really believe he will have, that's why he was brung here. I think with JJ, with Ben, I really think he ends up finishing the season starting along with JJ, Ben, Dario, and Joel. I really think that's an easy prediction for me, for them to see him. Stats-wise, I don't know, but him being a main contributor, not just somebody who they're trying to build, but him coming in with something to prove.
So, Mark, what do you think his addition, if he does that, what you're saying, if he jumps into that starting lineup by the end of the season, that means he's been producing, you know, he's been playing well throughout the season. What do you think the addition of a healthy and productive Markelle Fultz into this Sixers team is, you know, largely the same as the roster they had last year, a couple of tweaks, but same starting lineup. What do you think the addition of him does to that team? Like, where does it take them from a 52-30 team?
Great point. So for me, everybody's been speaking a lot of Boston Celtics. Some people speaking of Toronto Raptors. But for me, the 76ers, when Coach said we're going star hunting, I really believe when you have somebody with Joel, you have Joel, you have Ben, but we have Dario Saric. I really think with the addition of a healthy Markelle Fultz, I think a mixture with him and Dario gives you that third star, that third superstar, which puts this team over the top. I think they'll be healthy. I think when Markelle comes in here, I think he was the piece they needed last year going into the season. This guy, if he can produce us defensively, another ball handler, and another scorer that can create without having his number called, this Sixers is unbeatable, and I think that's what he gives them.
So you think it's safe to call Markelle the X factor for the team this year?
100%. Okay, I really believe that. I'm not just being a homer. I think if you look at what they lacked last year was another scorer. Now, I'm not saying a jump shooter. I'm saying another scorer that can get points without his number being called, which means one-on-one, break his opponents down, and create for himself or others. I think he gives them that. What do you think of the trade-off of Bellinelli and Ersan for Chandler and Muscala? I think we lost some shooting. We also added some more defense. I think the 76ers exposed the Boston series with Bellinelli and Ilyasova. They pretty much become unplayable because Boston was, and respectfully, JJ a little bit too. They attacked JJ as well. I think that really exposed the 76ers, and the additions that the 76ers made, to me, was something that says we're going to try to defend Boston. We know we can score, but we have to try to defend against the Boston Celtics, and that's what they did. And let's not forget Furkan. Yep. Right. He's a shooter. To me, he's a Bellinelli type guy, more athlete of a Bellinelli that can defend a little bit. Hopefully, he can get a 76ers shooting off that bench. Yeah, and it'll be interesting because I'm interested to see how Brett kind of implements Markelle and JJ together. Yeah. Or is that one or the other? Or can they be on the court together, right? I believe they both can. And the reason why I think reason JJ, Redick, and Markelle Fultz can be on the floor together is Ben is so versatile. Ben, he's labeled a point guard,
But Ben can guard the 1 through the 4. Nowadays, he can guard the 1 through the 5. So that's why I said I truly believe he'll be implemented to the starting lineup. And towards the end of the year, you'll see a starting 5 of Markelle Fultz and J.J. Redick in the backcourt. And you'll see Simmons, Dario, and Joel Embiid in the front court. But Ben will be guarding the perimeter 3 guys, and Dario will be guarding the 4s, and Joel will be guarding the 5. I really think you'll see that.
Now, Mark, I want to go to J.J. Redick, and if he had left, because this was the summer of who's going to come, and to the fan base out there, there weren't exciting names to them. Like, the names I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
They wanted, really big names.
Yeah.
But J.J. Redick coming back, what does that stabilize? What does that give Brett Brown, the fact that J.J. Redick said, yes, I will come back for XYZ amount of money?
J.J. had
about half the money.
Yes. Which was intriguing to me. That lets me know he wants to be here. Because J.J.'s a winner. He's a veteran. And he's a fiery guy. He's a fiery guy. People don't seem to understand that J.J. J.J. brings some fire, guys. So he's going to bring the shooting. He's also going to bring something in the locker room. He's going to bring a veteran leadership that's also contributing on the court. Sometimes your teams bringing these veteran leaderships that don't necessarily contribute on the court. They try to get through to these young guys. These young guys are like, but yeah, you ain't practiced all year and you don't even play. So how can I listen to you? So J.J. brings that element that he's a scorer, he's a shooter, and he's a great vocal leader in the locker room. And he saves them a lot of money too.
Is that a losing team, though, that looks at the veteran player and says, what am I listening to you for? You're not playing? Or do the really good teams have the veteran that maybe isn't contributing, but the better players do value that guy and listen to him?
That's a good point. Yes, see, when you got a situation like that, the culture of your locker room dictates how veterans are used. So if you brought, like when the Sixers brought in Elton Brand, when they was losing, they weren't winning games. People respected Elton Brand because they know what he was. Even though when he was here, he wasn't quite that X factor that he was at previous stops. But because the culture was changing, like, hey, we might got to listen to this guy. He got some viable time in the year.
It'd be like Amir this year, maybe.
Amir, yeah.
Mark, what are you expecting out of Joel this season? Obviously, he's finally had an off-season where he's healthy. He's been able to work out all off-season, no injuries, going into the season with no restrictions. He's good to go. He said that he wants to be an MVP candidate, MVP caliber player. We all saw what he was capable of last year. We all saw his strengths and weaknesses. Obviously, what are you expecting from the big man this year? One
thing I think Joel has showed us is Joel is smart. Joel is smart. Joel knows in order to be an MVP candidate, first of all, you got to be healthy. Right. LeBron James played every single game last year, and he played major minutes in the playoffs. So James Harden got the MVP, but we all know LeBron's the best player in the league by far. He's the MVP every year. So you got to look at players like that, and you got to say, this guy played every game, played 46 minutes a game in the playoffs. I have to duplicate him, which means you got to be healthy. He had a great offseason. Wasn't saying, well, okay, don't work out this summer. No, he worked out. You can see video of him almost every week playing one-on-one with somebody in the gym, and he's slimmer. He's lost weight. He doesn't have as much junk in the trunk. So I think that
he was out of gas in that playoff.
He was.
Yeah.
He was.
And the thought of somebody, I think Jimmy Liner brought this up on our show, which was,
God, I love Coach.
How different the series might have been if he doesn't play with a welding mask on his face.
Yeah,
that too.
I had that injury. I had that mask, and I said, people say, "Oh, it doesn't affect you." It don't necessarily affect you when you're looking straight, but your peripheral vision, which is the game's about, people coming at you from all angles, it does affect you. You second guess yourself because you think you might have seen something that you didn't. So it does throw you off a little bit, along with that and the fatigue.
Yeah, he certainly looked a little gassed. And one area that I thought Boston did a good job was they manned him one-on-one in the post.
Yeah.
And if you don't need to double him, that changes the game. Right.
Sixers in trouble because we didn't have, once again, the 76 didn't have enough players that can create on their own.
That's where Markelle will come in.
Exactly. That's where you have Ben, who struggled a little bit at that, but Markelle Fultz gave you that other element. So, and then we got to give respect to Boston. They're Al Horford. Al Horford can guard anybody. He can guard for LeBron. He can guard Joel. If you bring Shaq out, he can give Shaq some work. So that's a big up to him.
The way I look at this offseason was the Sixers, okay, they went after the big guy. They didn't get him. So let's go to plan B. You mentioned Marco Ursan. They got hammered defensively. The Sixers said, we need to be a better defensive team, more athletic on the perimeter.
Yeah.
That's why Zaire in the draft, Wilson Chandler's a wing. The only wing defender this team had last year was Rocco.
And he couldn't guard everybody.
And he can't guard everybody. So okay, we're going to have to defend Boston out in the perimeter. And that, to me, was the story of the offseason.
I agree with you 100%. When they didn't get the big-name guys that they wanted, they said, okay, what's our next step? Let's defend the Boston Celtics. You know, and let's not forget, so even though Boston's great, but Toronto was the best last year in the East. So now they still pump people who can maybe slow down Kawhi Leonard. So now you got enough people, long defenders on that perimeter that can also contribute in other ways, and not necessarily should be a shot up three. You give up some spacing, but you also add defense and some more players that can do some things of their own.
Real quick, as we sit here at the end of August, who's the king of the East in your mind right now? And what order do you rank them?
I really believe it's Boston. 76 second, Toronto's third. This start. But I really think it's going to be a three-way push because Kawhi has to get adjustment, acclimated to his new environment. They got to get adjusted to him, and they're going to take about the first 20 to 30, 40 games to get adjusted. And then you got to watch out, man. He's an MVP candidate every time he's on the floor because what he does on both ends of the floor. So I would still say Boston #1 because of their depth.
All right, Marc Jackson, of course, the Sixers Summer Short Tour. We're live here in Stone Harbor at the 82nd Street Rec Center. And Mark, always kind enough to stop by, join us in all Sixers season long. We'll have to catch up again as the season will be here really quick. You going to go to China?
Yeah.
No, I haven't been invited to that
going
trip
to
yet.
Beijing,
I haven't been invited to that trip yet.
Australia? Are they bringing you to Aussie?
No, that game's here, right?
Yeah, that game Melbourne is here.
Oh, the game's here? They're not
Yeah.
going to
Right.
Australia?
No,
Okay.
it's
No, they're bringing Aussie.
That's their first
oi.
one. Yeah, that's their
Yeah.
first preseason game.
All right, Mark, always a pleasure, man.
Thanks, guys.
We love you,
Appreciate
pal.
you.